On a chilly Parisian evening during the final day of Fashion Couture Week, the fashion house Maison Margiela invited guests beneath their Alexander III bridge for a vibrant and uniquely emotional experience crafted by no one other than John Galliano. Fashion influencers and global celebrities occupied their exclusive spots while clusters of tourists and local children with cameras gathered along the bridge's edge to get a better look at the figures assembled in the hidden cafe. Its walls in disarray, asymmetrical decor, shattered glasses, and tricks uncertainly spilled onto the dark wooden floor. Hello everyone, welcome to the Cinema.Fashion channel. Today we'll talk about the John Galliano's new couture collection from Maison Margiela, which undoubtedly will be etched in history textbooks, preserved in museums, studied by design students, and perhaps quell the tsunami of powerful emotions and fashion waves it has started.
Rack it up, I got a bit of the bank to make me a safe house. Shake it up, she got her hands on her knees and she bringing the cake out. Smoke it up, I got some gas, some packs, I'm up in the greenhouse. Ball it up, I'm with the gang, we taking shots off the rebound. Fucking my posters say
The event started with purple cocktails and corresponding hard candies in a restaurant designed as a Belle Epoque area. Fantasy merged with reality as a favorite model of the house, Léon Damet, moved from screens to the hall and then onto the runway, the space of which began under the bridge and extended through the entire restaurant. The evening continued with the performance by Lucky Love and a gospel choir, followed by a film by Baz Luhrmann, which transformed into a real fashion show upon its conclusion. The show began with a new interruption of exposed dresses with elements of modern and Victorian eras, gradually transforming top-suit silhouettes onto extremely contrasting forms, interpreting modern body modification. The textile color was grey and the fabric cut was shredded, resembling a surreal fantasy from Dickens' world. Later on the runway, there were exposed dresses in semi-transparent tones of lurid rainbow colors, revealing rigid contours underneath, while the model silhouettes concealed several layers of sheer, lightweight fabric. In contrast to these images, costumes in dark tones were presented with some details appearing as if some of the models had been caught in a downpour. While guests sipped cocktails before the show, the sounds of rain echoed from the speakers and bright flash of lighting lit up the room. One of the models walked the runway with a distorted umbrella. Restrained all-black outfits appeared on the show in a structured, stylized manner before the focus shifted to a group of models resembling the Little Bo Peep doll. The highlight of the show was the William dress combined with the corset model by no one other than Gwyneth Christie. Every element of the show, from the music, film, and theatrical performance on the runway, not to mention the collection itself, was incredibly dramatic. Furthermore, Galliano's new creation is also a subtle commentary on the concept of beauty modification and how far people are willing to go to change themselves. What does this smooth transition from bare dresses to turd-broken creatures and back again to useful doll-like figures signify? The show notes referred to these as doll-like accents and coquettish expression with illustrative shoulder lines. These are all to some extent characters in the Galliano universe. The fact that Kris Jenner, Kylie Jenner, and Kim Kardashian were the main stars sitting in the front row was a very ironic phenomenon considering their collection's context. Technique was exceptional here. Those heavy tapered pieces were fertilized, constructed through millimetrage or filtrage of a millify of organza and felt under a wool crepe printed with a trample layer of texture of a classic gentleman's clothes, according to the show notes. Galliano created the collection in 12 months, developing the couture method writing in his artistic language. Seam lace is entirely made of inlaid lace elements, while the emotional cutting, a new form of cutting that fills clothing, essentially emotion cutting, is nothing but exactly what it sounds. It's a fabric cutting method that, according to Galliano, fills with unconscious elements shaping our expression. The Maison Margiela Spring Couture Show 2024 not only evoked bright emotion and intuitive reactions, but also ignited intrigue at a level beyond aesthetics. Galliano described his show as the walk through the underbelly of Paris, which also recalls his controversial collection inspired by the homeless of French capital, for which he almost fired from his position as creative director of the Dior fashion house in 2000s. But this time he depicted that historical era beloved and often discussed. Paris at the end of the 19th century, full of bustle and gamblers. The show lent expressive canvases by Toulouse-Lautrec with distorted, stylized silhouettes featuring exaggerated waist, sheer dresses, and acquisitive Edwardian style hat that followed the moods or figures from John Galliano's 2005 Dior fashion show. Especially this applied to the corset presented in the collection. Historically, this wardrobe details altered a person's figure, and Galliano uses them as a visual symbol of extreme body modification. And although women no longer suffer in corsets, people today modify their bodies through toggery and digital imagery. Of course, this is a psychological and to some extent social-political aspect of the show. By the way, about historically fashionable torture that victims of the past endured, I discussed this some in this video. Friends, I also want to ask you to subscribe to this channel, click the icon bell and leave feedback if this video is interesting and useful for you. Yes, you greatly help the development of this channel. Once again, thank you very much. And now, let's get back to Galliano. After the collection debuted, the internet immediately hailed Maison Margiela as the winner of Fashion Week, overshadowing all other collections. Under the creative direction of John Galliano, the house put a true artistic spectacle. Makeup also played a key role in Galliano's fashion narrative. Legendary makeup artist Pat McGrath, whose collaboration with Galliano dates back to his time at Dior, transformed the runway models into real porcelain dolls. The glass-like, hyper-realistic skin shimmered and polished to perfection. Internet users flooded social media with speculations about how McGrath achieved such a surreal effect. While McGrath herself had yet to reveal the secret behind the new makeup technique, the internet is abuzz with its guesses and theories. One Instagram commentator suspects it's an incredible product for a combination of several cosmetics responsible for the glossy porcelain texture. I suspect it's somewhere for a clear peel or face mask at the user. Another theory suggests McGrath used crystalline liquid glass, a liquid glass that, when dry, creates such a coverage effect. Liquid glass can be left as a film after completely drying. The product page clarifies, simply confirming videos where models remove their shiny second skin after the show. Later, McGrath clarified in a TikTok comment that liquid glass was not involved in creating their collection's makeup, but they didn't stop enthralled show viewers from trying out the product, which was available last Friday and sold out over the weekend. Another cosmetic that viewers speculate might have been used in a makeup is Freeman's Cucumber Pale Facial Mask, a rejuvenating gel mask that costs just $4. Renowned makeup artist Erin Parsons first proposed this series thanks to a tip she received from someone working on the Margiela show. According to the source, McGrath's facial mask has a similar blue-green sheet, leading Parsons to believe that McGrath mixed it with water and applied it in thin layers using an airbrush. Undoubtedly, McGrath is enjoying the buzz surrounding her hard work. On Saturday, she responded to excitement about her creativity. Just back from the Paris and wanted to thank you all for the love and support, and will be relieved very soon. Well, I hope we will indeed soon learn all the details of the technique directly from the author herself. What do you think about this makeup technique? Please write in the comments. This show truly was a celebration of humanity, individuality, fashion as pure creation, expression, and extraordinary craftsmanship. It's not just called artisanal for nothing. In Galliano's new collection, this method surpassed itself. The brand managed to merge ancient technologies and new high technologies in the fullest understanding of what couture can mean. To give the fabric a moisture effect, the designer used silicone tweedwork treated with glue and crepe, then boiled to naturally reshape the material. Lace dresses were made using the decoupage technique to appear seamless. In short, nothing was as it seemed, including their porcelain necklaces, which were made from polished leather. It was a remarkable, extraordinary fashion trick that was simply hard to see to believe in. Galliano possesses a rare gift. His shows are fantasies where the audience isn't passive spectators, but active participants in their surreal dreams. In high in the air, feeling the fabric and enjoying the theatrical atmosphere of the event. The audience cheered, stomped their feet, and begged for more. Instead of unusual cold-lipped, clean-chinned smiles slid across cheeks, and joy lingered in the audience for a long time. Models rejoiced too. Some held each other, others clapped their hands like birds' wings. Such a vibrant collection hadn't been seen in the history of modern fashion for a long time. Let's hope that this was the beginning of something new, not just a quick nostalgic dive into the past. And for today, I'll bid farewell. Thanks for your attention and bye-bye.